up, guys? I'm here to teach you a little bit about drums. First step is how to hold the sticks. There's two ways to hold the sticks. One is called match grip, like this. This is the way I hold it. It's easier to get around the set, in my opinion, but that's whatever you're comfortable with. The second way is called traditional. Hold it like that. That's better for snare drum and jazz playing. That's what most people use when they play jazz and they play snare in a marching band. That's why marching band snare drummers look different than the rest of the drum players. The way to hold match grip is you put the stick in your hand like that, put your fingers around it, very simple. Grasp it like that, same with your left hand. That's why it's called match grip. Matched left hand, and for traditional, left traditional is a little trickier. You hold your hand sideways like that, put the stick between your thumb and your pointer finger, put your top fingers on top, and your stick rests between your fingers and your top fingers like that, and you hold it like that. Your right hand, same way as match grip, and you play around the set like that. That way is less comfortable for me than match grip. That's why I'll be teaching today with match grip, but it's whatever you guys choose to play with. Before we start playing, we need to know the basic drums, the name of the drums and how everything is set up. The first drum is called snare drum. Zoom in on the snare drum, please. Thank you. It sounds like this. You probably have heard it before in a marching band, probably have seen it before. It's very basic drum. It's called snare drums because it has a top, but on the bottom it has chains called snares, which make the rattly sound. And you can turn them on and off with this switch that I have on the side of my drum, right there. When I turn it off, it sounds like this, just like any other tom. If you turn it on, it sounds like a snare drum. So we have three toms. This one's called the high tom. This is the medium tom, and the floor tom or low tom. They're used for fills, per se. Bass drum, this big on the ground here, sounds like this. You actually hit it by using a pedal, which is using your foot, which takes a lot of coordination. Sounds like that. You use that mostly for when you're doing beats, but you can use it in fills, like if you're using double bass pedal. If you're using a single bass pedal, you can use it something like that. You got cymbals. I got 5 of them. You got your hi-hat. You can open it up using your left foot. There's a pedal over here. You use your left foot. Open and close it. That's your main cymbal. That's the thing that you're going to be using most when you play your beats. Next, you got this small one right here, one of my favorites, the splash. It's very small. It's meant to emphasize things, not really meant for big sounds, as you can tell. This is called the quick crash. The reason it's called the quick crash is because it dies faster than my normal crash. This sounds like. Then this is the normal crash. This one's a little bit louder and it rings a lot longer. Unless you choke it like I did. This one is called the ride cymbal. This is the biggest one of my cymbals, and it's meant for choruses and the lighter sound. You can use this one a lot too, just not as much as your hi-hat. It sounds like this. On each cymbal, there's something called a bell. That's this part right here, the top part of the cymbal. Each one has a different bell, and it's all unique sounding. Bless you, Mom. You okay?
I'm trying not to sneeze.
Okay. This bell sounds like this compared to. Very slight difference. This one. This one sounds like. This bell is the one I use the most because you can get different sounds out of it. This one sounds like. That's the one I use the most for things like. For emphasizing and for different sounds. You okay? You can sneeze, it's okay. Okay. Alright, now that you notice, you're going to. Oh, I forgot the cowbell. I'm sorry. The cowbell is a cowbell. It originated from the necks of cows. Someone had the bright idea of taking it off ending of a stick. It sounds like this. You can get different sounds of it by hitting different parts of the drumstick. That's just a plus on a drum set. It's not necessary. The necessary elements on a drum set are and sometimes a ride, but you really only need two cymbals and the toms. Okay, let's get started on beats. The first beat, which is a very necessary beat, it's the basis of beats. I call these the beats. There's two of them. This one sounds like this. You can hear it only includes three of the things: hi-hat, bass drum, and snare. The bass drum's on the 1 and 3, and the snare drum's on 2 and 4. The hi-hat keeps equal eighth notes the whole time, so you count like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so, and then when you put the bass pedal on there, it's 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Counting is very important when it comes to drums. It's how you divide things. It's how you keep time. The snare drum, it would sound like this with the snare drum. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now you put that all together, it obviously sounds like. That's very important because lots of beats start with that single hit, like this beat. It always goes back to that one hit on the 1 or 3. Depending on where you are in the beat. That's a very important beat, and it also helps you with fills. It helps you with control, I should say, during fills and whatever. It helps you control your bass drum and be able to do what you want with it. The second beat is very similar. It sounds like this. Sounds exactly the same. The only difference is the bass drum now plays on the 1, 2, 3, and 4. It plays on every beat, while your hi-hat and your snare stay the same. So instead of going 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and it sounds like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. That stays steady the whole time, which this beat is more important to me than the other beat, because this beat teaches you key control. If you're doing a fill, you need to keep your bass drum steady the whole time. This will help you. Like, if you were doing this beat, off into a fill. This will stay, your bass drum, you will usually stay steady, and you can do a roll. I know you couldn't really see it, but my bass drum was staying steady the whole time. That teaches you control. So again, this is the first beat. The bass drum's on 1 and 3, snare drum's on 2 and 4. Hi-hats keep a steady 8th note the whole time. Second beat sounds like this. Same thing, hi-hat is steady the whole time, snare drum 2 and 4. The only difference is bass drums 1, 2, and 3, and 4 now. These two are very key to practice. I will see who can do it in class by I'll bring a pair of sticks and giving you all a chance to try doing these things. Next is this beat I made up, which I am proud to say no one has been able to play yet. It sounds like this. It's a pretty fast beat. I'm going to slow down to teach you guys, obviously. I'm going to play it on snare drum so you can see what my sticks are doing. It's a lot simpler than it sounds, but it sounds really cool if you can do it right. So let's start. I'll do it very, very slow for you to see on the rim. Sorry. I need to do it fast so to get it in my head, sorry. It's hard to do it slow. That's why I do it fast. It's very hard to do it slow. But I'm trying to figure out how to do it slow for you guys. Like that. Your right hand doubles a lot, basically, while your left hand does all single hits. The only time your right hand doubles is one part of the beat. Your right hand does this. You can practice that. And your left hand. Like that. So the hard part is doubling and keeping the single at the same time. That's what everyone seems to have trouble with. And it's a weird combination of different rudiments into one. I have no idea how I came up with it, honestly. I just thought it'd be cool to come up with a beat one day. So I'll show you again slowly. I need to speed up. I'm going to speed up and do it fast, and I'm going to slow down for you. Like that. And when you get that down, I'd start doing it on snare drum. I'll show it more in class. It's very hard to teach over video because it's very complicated, and I would need to show you in class. I'll show you in class. But after I got down the snare drum, I started putting on cymbals and made a beat out of it. As you could hear, I was doing a lot of bass pedal with it. Not a lot, but I was putting bass pedal into it. That is improvised every time. You decided what you want to make it sound like. I usually do something like very simple bass drum part. Many people can do different ways. If you're more talented, you can maybe double up with the right hand, but I find it just easy to keep it simple and it sounds just as cool. And when you get good, and you can do fills with this thing too, so it sounds like. I messed up towards the end, but you get the point. That is basically the basics of it. That's basically what I wanted to teach you. That I will show you more in class. I'll show you the beat in class again, and I'll show you the basics in beat in class again. I'll bring the pair of sticks in, and I'll explain the drums. Any other questions you can ask me in class, and that is basically it.